Do it. This meeting is being live streamed. Hello, everyone, and welcome
Happy Monday
to this very special episode on a beautiful Monday meow day evening.
Super special Monday episode
with none other than Billy Hookman of Green JuJu. Now, listen, guys, here's the thing. When it comes to the pet health world, Billy is like, I don't know, like the king. He's like he's
going to intro himself in a minute, and he's not going to give you the information that we're sharing with you.
No, but seriously, he's like the most like well-known, brilliant.
He's a pioneer.
He's a pioneer, right?
A little bit of a legend.
But then when it comes to the cat world, I feel like the cat people need to know Billy as much as the pet health world, which is mostly dog people, need to know Billy. Yes. So we invited him here tonight, and he so graciously is joining us to talk a little bit about what Green JuJu is. First of all, because you guys might be like, Green JuJu, what? That sounds weird. I don't even know what that is. And how Green JuJu can benefit our kitties as well.
Here we go. Sorry, I was pulling up Facebook so we don't miss the comments.
Yeah, so welcome everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, wow. Okay, yes.
Kimberly's here. Hi, Billy. Dana.
Yay.
Hi, ladies and Billy. Oh, yeah. You got some fans up in here.
Yes. So, Billy, would you just give everyone a short intro of who you are, and then maybe lead into Green JuJu and who Green JuJu is as well?
Yeah, I feel like that was such a great intro that I should just be like, all right, goodbye. It's been because I've never, that was pretty amazing. So
it was the truth.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm someone who is like everyone else. Unfortunately, I actually don't have any animals right now, which is kind of, a bizarre thing. But, I had the best dog in the world, and I took the same road that everybody watching this did. You get an animal and you feel a certain way about that animal, and she was worth it to dedicate my career and life to. And so that my journey came from I would just describe it this way. I would say the people that are closest to me know that I talk about like 3 or 4 things, and nutrition is one of those things. And I just it never becomes uninteresting to me. And I think it's so fun because we can always learn more. And then past that established knowledge, there's always stuff we can learn and apply in a new way. And that's my passion, is to come up with new things and new products and new ways of educating that, people haven't thought of in a certain way. Or how do we improve? I mean, how do we improve on a wild cat's diet? Or how do we improve on a wolf's diet and say, well, why don't we do better? And so, I am the vice president of nutrition and communication for Green JuJu. It's a very small team. It's just me and Kelly, who is my boss, who's the owner of Green JuJu. And we make amazing products. We make products that are, we're going to talk about one that's very geared towards cats. And we make products, the flagship that Green JuJu had, we were actually the first people to do the vegetable blends for dogs. So something we do that's very different in those blends are we actually juice them and add the pulp back, so they're further broken down, but in a raw food state. And recently we've expanded our line to products that are great for cats. So we have our bison bone broth. We have our full treat line. We also have some new products that are coming out, which we're actually going to be doing but this is my own plug, by the way. We're going to be doing 4 lives from 4 nights in a row from the 28th of September to the 1st of October. And we're going to debut a new product each night and tell you why we made them and what goes into it. Because it's important. If we're feeding our cats something, we want that something we want to know the people who made it. We want to trust it. And so that's why we do those. And that's why we do, lives every month, is the transparency thing. So I'm excited to get more into the cats.
Oh, I'm excited. We got to mark calendars. We got to get this. We will be there.
Yes.
We'll absolutely be there.
Yeah.
I think you say it so casually, but the transparency thing is so important. Especially when it comes to the things that we're putting in our cats' bodies. And I think that's like you said earlier, learning new ways, or how can we make things better and specifically focusing on our cats, it's so important that we give them not just a good diet as the foundation for their health, but this right here is also such these treats that you guys are making is such an important part of a cat's really even environmental enrichment, I feel, because everyone wants a treat from time to time. And knowing that this transparency thing and all of your experience has gone into what we're putting in our cats' bodies is really an exciting thing. So,
and that transparency is exactly why we 100% trust it. And you now, the interesting thing is usually when people create treats, they create the treats with dogs in mind, right? Mm-hmm. So when it comes to our cats' treats, we're left with things like temptations, right? We're left with the stuff that just has, you know, animal digest and corn gluten meal in it. And that's basically like the gist of the treat, also with dyes and color dyes and things like that. So this is very, very different. We are always adamant about whatever it is that we put into our cat's body. We want to make sure that it's building health, that it is healthy for them, even if it is just a treat, right? Because everybody will go get McDonald's from time to time, and that's fine, and I get that. But when it comes to our cats, we get to choose. We are the ones, we have to be their advocates. So we are the ones that choose what goes into their bodies. And we, all of us, want to make sure that we are giving our cats something that's healthy, but also delicious. So we're really excited because when you sent us these green JuJu treats, and very interestingly enough, our cats like the bison more than more than the salmon.
All of them.
Like all of them. They like the bison the most, which was very interesting because they don't usually we feed them a raw diet. We feed them all kinds of different proteins. They're not usually into the bison that much in their meals, but they were very much into this. So tell us a little bit about the treat line and how it came to be and how you guys also did this with cats in mind.
Yeah, so I'm going to give 100% of the credit for this, obviously, to Kelly, who developed this line of treats. And she is a gifted formulator in terms of not only the nutrition part of it, but also how to package it sort of in a different way. So those were developed to not only pair, you're pairing two things, which I think are going to be highly beneficial for cats. So the first thing is organ meat. So organ meat is always going to be much healthier than muscle meat. So be it any species really when you're consuming it. So if you look at heart, for example, so one of the reasons that your cats might love those bison ones, those are 96% heart and liver. So heart is going to be much higher in minerals. It's going to be much higher in collagen. You know, it's going to be higher in B vitamins than muscle meat. And then you have your liver, which is really pound for pound the most nutrient dense food on the planet. And so you're getting these things that nutritionally, like vitamin A, like actual, you know, cats can't convert, you know, beta carotene to vitamin A. So you're getting that actual retinol vitamin A, you're getting that vitamin D, which I have more experience with, you know, dogs and testing vitamin D, but I'm willing to guess that cats, like people and dogs, are also usually low in vitamin D to be able to do that. So we could take two very simple things that cats really seek out, you know, would seek out in nature as their part of their, you know, their evolutionary diet as being the really nutrient dense part of that. And then we pair each one of those with a different antioxidant color. So every pigment color in food, be it plant or animal, but especially in plants, is a different antioxidant type. So your red, you know, vegetables are going to be different than your dark leafy greens. That'll be different than, you know, your blue pigment vegetables. And that's why each one is different there. And so with cats, you not only get that. So when you were talking about like, oh, treats need to be healthy too, because we all need a treat. This is going to be like, when you talk about organ meat, as healthy as the diet that they're actually, you know, eating. So it can really be, it can also be used as a topper. So, you know, rehydrating it or crumbling it on top of food. And then you also get that good fiber profile as well, because we know that cats, you know, obviously need a diverse fiber profile. And one of the things that I think is really underrated in dog and cat nutrition is the different types of plants that you're consuming. So the more plants you're consuming, the better fiber profile, a more diverse fiber profile you're going to get. So if you have cats that like, you know, different types of these treats, why not? What a great thing to rotate between them, not only for protein, but also for that fiber profile, you know, to feed their gut biome as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's something that's very underrated. Or in the pet health world, at least, is talked about quite a bit when it comes to dogs, is the diversity of the microbiome of the gut. But when it comes to cats, it's something that is almost unheard of. You know, people don't talk about the like feeding our cats, especially because they're obligate carnivores. So there's, you know, a group of people that are very adamantly against feeding cats any type of plants at all. And then there's those that are a little bit more, you know, educated in the benefits of plants. And like you said at the beginning, like adding upon not just their, you know, diet as they were intended to have, but adding upon it so that we can maybe even extend their lives more and give them more of that, you know, diverse profile when it comes to food or when it comes to treats.
Yeah, I think actually, and this is understandable. I think what confuses people is that large pet food manufacturers have been using plants in the wrong way for so long that people kind of gets demonized. And that's one of the things that Green Juju does right, is we use plants for cats and dogs. You don't want to use plants typically for fat and protein, right? You want those to come from animal sources because they're more bioavailable. The way you want to think about that is the amino acids that make you up are going to be more similar to if you're eating beef versus a plant-based protein. The amino acid profile is going to be more similar to your body because you're more similar. And so in terms of using those things, so we're using animal ingredients for the protein part, but we know, I mean, the debate, especially when it comes to dogs, the debate is closed. Like, we know through especially a lot of the new science now that these plant antioxidants are beneficial, right? And so when we do that, we want to be able to provide that for cats as well, for those things I just mentioned, for fiber, for some of those antioxidants. As long as you're doing that right, obviously, like a diversity of I think people need to keep in mind that just because a cat eats a certain way in the wild doesn't mean, going back to what I was saying before, we can't improve upon that. And it doesn't mean, here's a good example. Actually, there was a study that came out recently that showed that dogs that consume spirulina have less allergies than dogs that don't. So where on earth in the wild would a dog eat spirulina, right? They wouldn't. But we know it's beneficial for those dogs, and there's countless cases for that. And so in the same way with cats, we want them. I would say to those people too, what about when cats just eat plants themselves? Would you be like, I'm sorry, you can't do that? Like, that's not appropriate.
No, I mean, you think about it, like every cat loves, I mean, and they have cat grass right now. Like you can actually purchase cat grass, is what they call it, which is like wheatgrass or whatnot, where, because it's so beneficial, that, what is it, folic acid, it's so beneficial. And they actually do, in the wild, they do eat grass. They do actually eat even the stomach contents of their prey, they will consume as well. So yeah, I think, yeah, yeah.
Well, I love that this is treats, to me, are an exciting topic, just because we've known for a while, like, single ingredient treats can be really good. We always want to look. It's like, we want to know what we're putting in there. I love that you can read the ingredients in these treats and know what they are, and that there's something that our cats will actually eat, right? I mean, so we can use that as a reward. We can use that as a meal topper. And I think that that's where so many cat parents, when they get into this understanding nutrition a little bit more, they have a hard time transitioning. And this whole line of treats is so much more than just something fun and something nutritious. It can really help with that transitioning our cats over to a more healthy diet in general, by using it as a meal topper.
Yeah, I love that. The idea of doing it as a meal topper, because we do that with some other freeze-dried treats. And this
Bison
would,
never
yeah,
moves too
and our cats are in love. In fact, it's very interesting that none of them are around. They
I'm
must have all
surprised.
just
I was
gone.
so
They got
quiet
worn
bringing
out.
them out.
I know, we were like, let's be really quiet so that they don't come like bombard the whole thing, but I think they're all sleeping right now.
Getting back to the source though, I
Yeah.
love how much work you've done in nutrition, and like you said at the beginning, you've basically dedicated your entire career to helping animals live healthier lives because of your dog who is now passed. Talk a little bit about, well, explain a little bit more about Green Juju. Let people know a little bit, like how did this all come to be? You know, for those of us that have known you for a while, it's very exciting to see these new exciting products coming out, and knowing that you're part of it is a really exciting thing, especially for us cat people.
Yeah, and also the ingredients. Although I do want to
Okay.
say, Robin sent you 500 stars,
Oh, wow.
and somebody's asking if you can, if you guys ship to Canada.
I don't know offhand. I don't know. That's a great answer. Somewhere my boss is watching me and she's like, how do you not know that? So we do have, obviously, you know, we're in support of our local retailers. So we would prefer people, obviously, if you can't get it, you can purchase it from our website, but obviously you're going to get a better deal if you purchase it from a local retailer. We are actually in Western Canada. So for you folks in Western Canada, check with your local retailer. We are eventually going to be in Eastern Canada as well. So, but there's nothing stopping you from checking on the website. But like I said, supporting your local people and supporting, I will never remember who said this, but it means a lot to me. They said, it's not, you know, the big box store that put, you know, the local hardware store out of business. It's the person who wanted to pay $1 less for a hammer. So, you know, I think there's a lot of truth to that, you know, in terms of doing that. So Green Juju was started by Kelly Marion, my boss. She was actually not wanting to start a pet food business. Her dog actually got cancer, and she was looking for a product because she was dealing with some of her own health issues in food. And she was looking for something that's hilarious. She was looking for something. I'm like, let me tell this serious story, and then of course,
Let me get his butt out of the way.
He wants here.
Let's turn this way.
You're taking.
There
There you go.
So she was looking for a product, and one didn't exist. She wasn't looking for pills or powders at that point. She was looking for actual whole food. She was doing juicing at the time, and so she really put the genius idea of juicing and putting the pulp back, which I was talking about at the beginning, right, in order to get all of those nutrients out. And she had a dog walking business at the time, and so her clients, you know, started on it and started to see these better results, because that's really the premise behind this, is not a long ingredient panel with 100 of the healthiest, you know, things we can. It's a short ingredient panel with a good amount of these great whole foods that when eaten in their whole food form, you know, you don't have to worry about all the chemicals that make them up. It's just how you digest them. And so, and I'm sure some people watching this have heard this part of the story, which I just think is kind of fortuitous and amazing. But so that was in around, I think, 2014. She was working with some local retailers, and you know, she brought a sample to a store and said, we're based in Seattle, so to a local Seattle store. And she said, don't sell this. I want you to, you know, try this and use it or whatever. So she leaves, and lo and behold, not knowing each other, I walk in, and they accidentally sold me the sample. So I was the first Green Juju customer accidentally all those years ago. So
No, there's no such thing as an accident.
The mathematical chances of that being a reality is hilarious right now.
Yeah. So, you know,
What'd you think?
So Kelly brought this really amazing concept and has been seeing these great results over the years. And I was using it for Lua, my dog, for years, you know, along with, you know, home formulating and doing, obviously, some of the things I was doing. And as soon as, you know, I was looking for a change, it was the first place that I went. and to visit Kelly and it was something I wanted to be a part of because I knew about her integrity and I knew about the sourcing, and I'd known her and we've been friends for 10 years in the industry. And so it was definitely like a very short list of where I wanted to go and where I could be happy. And I got to tell you, so far it's been incredible and amazing, um, and just generally, I think. And I don't say this just because I'm talking to two women, but working for women is the best thing. So I'll just throw that out there. Just generally having worked for two amazing women and now working for another amazing woman. But I'm here to support her vision. So, it was going to be what I can bring to the table, but it was never going to be about, what is Billy going to take the stuff he was doing and,
Right.
and I think that's maybe what some of the perception was. But the reason I signed on was because I wanted to do something different. And I wanted to do something that supported what she was already doing and bring, my talents or whatever you want to call it to Green JuJu. And I'm very excited about the future. We're working on some really cool stuff. I mean, I probably annoy her at this point because I have like a million ideas of new products we can put out all the time, but that's my favorite part of the job. So, I think in the future, people will be very excited, coming up this fall. And then also, come the spring and beyond, I think people will be excited about what we have coming out.
Can you give us any hints?
I'll give you a hint. We didn't plan it this way, but I think a lot of our products that are coming out in the next, week or two are very good for fall.
Nice.
So we didn't plan it that way, but I think they will be adorable for fall. So just throwing that out there. Side note, we just moved to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and I got to tell you, my favorite thing about it so far is the amount of pumpkin patches and cider places and whatnot within like a 10-minute drive of our house.
Nice.
I did see one of the pictures that you posted on Instagram.
Really?
Sorry for the cat bite. I mean,
So Jack here.
I see how your cat feels about me. It's fine.
Hey, he
No,
loves
it's
you.
how he feels about your treats.
That's true.
Yes, that is true. It is a good plug going on right now, so I'll take the butt. It's totally fine.
Spicy,
Yeah,
man.
I'm telling you.
They can't.
I'm telling you, he
They
can't have
resist
enough.
it.
Yeah, it's even our picky Mr. Pooh Bear is like in love.
He never eats treats. He'll eat his food now, but he is not a big fan of treats at all.
No.
So this is very exciting. And what's exciting is, I love the story of just how this came to be, and just your journey in general, I think is inspiring to so many people. And it's been empowering to so many people. I think that just the things that you find fascinating make a big difference in this world. And so now to see this whole new chapter and be a little bit to see what you're doing is so exciting.
Yeah.
And I think especially for cat people, we talked a little bit before the live, a lot of times maybe it's a first step is like thinking about nutrition for your dog or whatever, but it's so important for cats. And so to be seeing so many new options out there and things that we can do to help increase health is really a game changer.
Yeah. Oh, you can.
No, I was just going to agree. I think it's very. Yeah.
Well, and yeah, I think and one of the reasons too, and I think it's good to say that one of the reasons too that I wanted to work with Kelly Green JuJu is I want to meet people where they are. That's a big deal to me, and I feel like we need to come to people not in judgment, but in how can I improve your animal's life. So if you are someone who is doesn't care about nutrition, but you want to feed these treats, that's amazing. We'll take that. We can improve diet in that way. Or not everyone has to feed a raw diet. Not everyone is going to do that. And one of the reasons, I've worked so long in the freezer, and I think that is obviously the best way in order to, whole raw foods are the best way to feed, any mammal for the most part, but not everyone's going to do that. And so I want to, be there for those people. And that's one of the reasons I picked it. And maybe people were a little bit shocked by that. I got a few reactions, but that's one of the things that I'm trying to help every dog and every cat. And so imagine if somebody, like I said, was doing that, they would improve their diet, exponentially from, let's say, a treat you can buy at the grocery store or something like that, to be able to do that. So, I think it's important to mention that at Green Juju, we are going to, of course, create products that I think nutrition nerds will be like, oh my God, that's interesting. That's my goal. But also, our bigger goal than that is to create products that someone can walk into the store and see that bag of beef treats and go, oh, this looks good, because we just helped an animal that normally wouldn't be helped. So we want to merge those two worlds. And I think that that's our number one goal. And I'm excited to be a part of that as well.
I love that so hard because it's really true. Like we can preach the importance of diet and a species appropriate diet and things like that. But in all honesty, we weren't there at one point, and it's not everybody's going to be there. Friends and family are like the world's worst, like but hey, this is a great treat and your cat will love it or your dog will love it, and we're giving them a little bit of health, like that, like the study that showed that, adding 20%, just 20% of a processed diet can reduce the disease markers up to 90%. Like that's a huge thing. And that's our goal as well. That's why we love you so much. Is our goal is to help every cat in some way, even if it's a little way, if it has something to do with, environmental enrichment, if it has something to do with health, like we just want to help every cat and come just as you are. Yeah.
Can I just say for a second, one of the comments here is it's so hard to find cat treats without chicken in them. And cat meat for so many, and I'm just looking and I'm like, all of these.
None of these have chicken. You didn't send us any with chicken.
I mean, all of these are chicken free.
Yeah, we actually, so one of the things that is a pretty big deal for Kelly is to make to deal in as novel of proteins as possible. Yes. So, that's why she started with the bison broth. That's why, so we actually don't make anything. Not to say, I will say, how you raise your chickens, the diet, all that affects it. I don't want to demonize chicken because we
learned a lot from you about chicken.
Yeah, we learned.
Yeah, in the right circumstance. But that's not, most people are not getting the right circumstance. So I would say, so we don't have anything with chicken in it. And so I think this will, appeal to a wide variety of people. And also if you're on like the Chinese medicine side of things, and the heating and cooling part of it, you can find something that works for you. I have noticed, I don't know if it's just because cat owners like feeding fish more, but if I'm in a store and I see our treats in the cat section, it's usually the salmon ones that are sold out. But
what's so interesting is that when it came to our cats, and they are also that are our treats that we sell are minnows munchies, right? Yeah. They're just like pure minnows, and they love them. But we thought, oh my God, this is going to be their favorite. But interestingly enough, they went straight to the bison. That was like, there is still their most favorite.
I like the plug for the bison. Everyone buy your cat bison Green Juju.
Try it.
It's so interesting. And because it's such a novel protein, there's so many cats out there we are dealing with on the day-to-day basis, cats that have allergies to fish, cats that have allergies to chicken or sensitivities, right? To specific, we're always saying, let's try to feed a more novel protein in whatever form that is, whether you're feeding kibble, whether you're feeding wet, whether you're feeding raw, let's try to, switch up the proteins and let's try to feed some more novel proteins. And this is just like absolutely amazing.
I want to point out too, Madison is asking, do you sell cat food? So, I'll let you answer that, but I also want to point out, I want to point out though that for these treats, I love that you actually say it on the bag, it can replace up to 10% of the meal. I love that this is something that we can start adding in, and it, like you mentioned at the top, such dense nutrition and real whole foods here. So it is, no matter what we're feeding, this is, like you said, meeting people where they're at, or meeting their cat where they're at, and starting to add in some food. So do you sell cat food?
We do not. So we actually don't sell any food. And never say never, but right now we're very strong in the additives part of the market. So we want to improve every diet. So for instance, like if you were feeding a dog, right? We know that adding dark leafy greens, you can look at, the 2005 Purdue study and show, a reduction in cancer rates. So we know that adding, I don't, it doesn't matter if you're feeding like a highly processed diet or, the best commercial raw diet you could find, will make that exponentially more healthy. I'm a big advocate for, even if you found like, I found this raw diet that works for my cat or that works for my dog, this will improve those things. So that's kind of where we sit right now. Again, you never know what the future holds, but in my quest to get in as many bowls as possible, I think that that's a good place to be in.
And isn't that interesting? Because this isn't like any other treat. That's not the mission of any other treat out there. The treats are, hey, let's make something, even if they're healthy, let's make something healthy that dogs and cats can get as their treats for training or for just treat purposes or whatever it is that it rewards.
Mm-hmm.
But this is more with in mind that we're not just giving them something as an alternative to the regular treat, but also improving upon their overall well-being. And that's unlike, guys, anything else on the market. Literally anything else on the market.
I know that I'm not even sure what time it is, but I talk a little bit about, because I love this. And we were just talking with Dr. Katie Woodley, the natural pet doctor, talking about the different varieties, how she's a big advocate of different varieties of proteins, different brands, all that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. This is, when you said Kelly is a fan of these novel proteins, and you've got a lot of background in formulating as well. Talk a little bit about some of the benefits that you're aware of when we're able to switch up proteins in general for our cats, as far as the different nutritional profiles, and the fact that even though this is a treat, how a little bit makes a big difference.
Yeah. I would like to say, side note, this is totally unrelated before I answer that question. I had no idea when I scheduled this, just for the record, that the Green Bay Packers would be playing on Monday Night Football during this exact time. So for all of you out there, I am a true fan. I just didn't know that always happens to me because I make my own schedule, and I'm always like, whenever football season starts, I'm always like, oh, I'll just do whatever. And then I'm like, oh, but so if I look down at my phone, I'm just casually, I promise, just casually looking at the score. So different proteins. So when it comes to, let's say any meat, it doesn't matter if it's bison and that, you might look at the exact protein level. All of those are broken down into different amino acid types, right? And they're in different forms and they're in different amounts for each one. And that's what makes, plant proteins typically not complete, where animal proteins are actually complete. I mean, it depends. You can, potentially do like different combinations of plants, but this is going to have everything you need. So if you look at, for instance, there's a really good scale for measuring protein. It's with 0 through 100. 100 is actually eggs. Eggs are the most complete protein and most bioavailable protein when it comes to the arrangement of those amino acids. Any meat on there is going to be, in the high 80s to 90s, in terms of their bioavailability. But every one of those things in front of you is going to have a slightly different arrangement of those things. But also, it doesn't just go to protein, because protein is one of those words that's sort of like all encompassing. Like, I'm going to have salmon is protein and beef is protein, but salmon is a different mineral profile. It's a different fatty acid profile. It's a different protein profile. It's a different, antioxidant profile. It's all those things that are different. And so every time you rotate between these treats or diet or whatever, you're decreasing the chance that you're going to have a nutritional deficiency. And that's really what we're all trying to avoid, is, nutritional deficiency. Because if you put all of your eggs in one basket, to go back to the chicken thing earlier, I can make dad jokes because I am a dad now.
You are a dad now. Yeah.
I don't have to be cool anymore. So I'm just throwing that out there. Then you're going to have an issue down the line. And I think that's where a lot of people ran into problems in the last 50 years was, if you put all your eggs into one food basket and then that manufacturer is not doing something right, you're going to run into an issue there. And so for me, it's important. Obviously, I'm looking forward to when I do have a dog again, you know, I'm looking forward to being able to, you know, go back and yeah, I'll have to convince my wife on. We both never had a cat before, so you know, it's
But we talked about it. And
that
it's
would
an option.
if you need
that would be a whole new world for sure. Well, I actually
Wow.
at some point we'll have to consult Maple, I think, on what she wants, I guess.
Oh,
Yes,
absolutely.
I agree.
And
Yeah.
we're there for that.
Yes.
Whenever you guys need to have that talk. for
Currently
sure.
she's just learning how to laugh, so I think that might be, you know, a while, but we'll see what happens. But
Yeah. Pay close attention to the laugh when you ask her, do you want a cat? Like a kitty? See how she laughs.
And so just this is totally personal question, but she's learning to laugh. I just have to say, because Mabel is seriously the most beautiful baby in all
well,
the
thank you. I appreciate
I-
that.
Did you pee your pants the first time she laughed? Like, is that not the most like the sound of heaven itself?
Well, she's just starting, so it's not like a full laugh. It's just like she's really into if you put a toy in front of her face and then take it away really quick, which I know is hilarious. So so she's really into that. But I will say my favorite thing about her is she loves to sleep. It's like her favorite. Like when I'm putting her into bed, she gets excited about it and like rolls over and starts, and I'm like, you're like the perfect baby. Oh, and she does have some exposure to cats because we read her Goodnight Moon, so she has exposure to kittens with mittens. So
I'll go with that. That's a good start.
so
The best.
it's actually funny because Emily's leaving, so there she is right there. She's sleeping currently, so I'm gonna have this by me, but just to throw her on the live feed.
You're gonna be watching the monitor and the
I'm doing the game, the live, the monitor. I'm doing everything.
All right, well, listen. Oh, everyone's saying perfect baby. Yes.
Okay, so
Awesome.
can you tell, like, how many stores are you guys in? Like the majority of pet stores, people are asking, can I get it near me? Where can I get this?
Yeah.
What, like, and we've got the greenjujukitchen.com link pinned here by Lindsay Robbins in the comments, where you guys can click and check them out. But if like for those that are wanting to know, where can they get these amazingly healthy, awesome,
Delicious.
delicious additions to their diet, where can they get it?
Well, we have a store locator on our website, but a lot of so all of your independent stores are going to be ordering from distributors, and so even if they don't carry it, a lot of times they can just order it for you because they're already getting an order from that distributor. But all of the ones on our store locator should have them, but if they can't, just give them a call.
Yeah.
And then, you know, usually they can order it for you, and usually they don't have to order a certain amount because of the fact, you know, obviously that they're already paying for that distributor to come in. So just jump onto our website, or if you really like are having trouble, just reach out to us. We have a contact form on our website, and you know, it'll be me or Kelly. So we're happy to help you either way, you know, to be able to do that. So
Well, and I want to reiterate too, we've got a great little healthy pet food store around the corner from us, and I'm just going to be calling them tomorrow to see if they've got A, B, or C. This will be added to the list to see if it really is a lot easier than I think people realize to just make a quick call and ask.
Yeah, our healthy pet store near us, or both of them, we can ask them for anything and they'll be like,
Yeah,
you know,
they can get
we
it
don't
from
have
the
it, but we'll get
distributor.
it. Yeah.
Yep.
It's
well, and the other thing too is you can actually order from our website, but again, you will be actually and again, we're not trying to like undercut our retailers. There are some areas where you just can't get it, right? And we realize that's a problem, and so you can order it. You will have to, you know, pay shipping, of course, but for me, especially if you're doing the treats, you know, that's definitely a viable option, especially versus, you know, you might pay a little bit more obviously for a frozen product. But you can find us there, and we haven't put any videos on it yet, but we just launched a YouTube, so we're about to, so you'll be able to get more information there, and we'll be featuring other people's videos. You can always look for us on Instagram and Facebook, and you know, I do the once monthly lives, and so all of that stuff will be featured, and we'll
We're looking forward to that. I just have to mention that Trish just commented, Trish on our dream team. She just said, I just made an order from my local pet store and it's in stock.
Oh, good. There you go.
Yes,
There's-
and
there-
Marilyn said she just actually ordered yesterday from her store. So
There's
yeah.
nothing like being able to just go to the store and get it.
Yeah.
You know, just actually, especially in today's world, like actually finding it is amazing.
Yeah, well,
That's great.
and being able to support
Alicia's
your
got
local
it.
community and your local small businesses. It's always, you know, it's always just, it just feels good to do that. For sure. So
Yeah.
yay. Thank you so much for joining us, Billy,
thank you.
tonight. We'll let you get back to your football game and your baby.
Yeah, go Packers.
Yeah, Packers.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Absolutely. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate the opportunity, and we'll talk soon.
Yes,
I can't wait to see your next live. We'll be watching for
Oh,
it.
guys, we will be live for Monday's merch in
About 15 minutes.
About 15 minutes, and we have a very big surprise tonight. So come join us, and we'll be right back here. 15 minutes. All right,
Billy, thank you so
Billy.
much.
Thank you.
Love
Appreciate
you.
it.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye, guys.